This video is brought to you by our patrons. If you want to make sure we can create more content like this, consider supporting us on our Patreon. Thank you. Hi, and welcome to Chapter 14 of Capitalism, Socialism and Democracy by Joseph A. Schumpeter. This chapter is called Decomposition. Faced by increasing hostility of the environment and by the legislative, administrative, and judicial practices born of that hostility, entrepreneurs and capitalists, in fact, the whole stratum that accepts the bourgeois scheme of life, will eventually cease to function. Interestingly, the ultimate loss of motivation will result from factors both internal and external to the bourgeois mind. In this chapter, we will attempt to detangle the internal from the external for the purpose of our analysis. First, with the internal. The rationalization that we have discussed in previous chapters will bleed from economic life into personal life, fundamentally changing how people behave in society. And this is not, for example, as simple as marriage and divorce rates, although that can be a symptom, but in a deeper way, people's behavior within these institutions. As soon as they introduce into their private life a sort of inarticulate system of cost accounting, they cannot fail. To become aware of the heavy personal sacrifices that family ties and especially parenthood entail under modern conditions, and, accepting the cases of farmers and peasants, children cease to be economic assets. Capitalist progress will gradually dim the values of family life, all the while making childlessness via contraceptive technology increasingly convenient and possible. And at the same time, the system incentivizes, or at the very least creates, alternative preferences or possibilities or avenues to live one's life. Different lifestyles are possible. People are driven to behave rationally and to economize. The spacious home is no longer a goal for upcoming generations. New style of bourgeois life is more like less demand for stuff and luxurious, spacious private living, especially when the numbers of children are reduced, including staff in the home and capacity to host elaborately within one's home, when one can simply just go to a restaurant or hotel. So this describes how bourgeois life will evolve under later term capitalism. Now, in terms of overall consumer demand, this reduction in bourgeois demand is basically canceled out, however, by increasing demand from the middle and lower strata of society. However, that's not really the important point that Schumpeter is trying to zero in on. The most important part to Schumpeter is this idea that the desirability of incomes beyond a certain level become less and less desirable as capitalism progresses. And this is sort of strange since in the past, just desire to achieve such high incomes was a primary driving force of capitalism. Thus, the same economic process that undermines the position of the bourgeoisie by decreasing the importance of the functions of entrepreneurs and capitalists, by breaking up protective strata and institutions, by creating an atmosphere of hostility, also decomposes the motor forces of capitalism from within. Nothing else shows so well that the capitalist order not only rests on props made of extra capital material, but also derives its energy from extra capitalist patterns of behavior, which at the same time it is bound to destroy. Ultimately, we find that capitalism has a tendency towards self-destruction, usually first evidenced by the gradual slowing of progress. But with its collapse, it does not become a neutral void ready to be transformed into just any system. Rather, with the nature of later-term capitalism and its collapse, institutions and souls or people become particularly amenable towards a socialist way of life. And now we will be moving on to part 3 of the book, Can Socialism Work? And as we move into this new section, there are a few things readers should keep in mind. Number 1, so far we have not learned anything about the kind of socialism that may present itself in the future. Oftentimes in Marxian writings or in modern discussion, people can be left with the impression that socialism is a single definite system. However, that's not really true. There's actually a variety of economic and cultural possibilities within the category of socialism. And point number 2, we have no idea how socialism may occur. The possibilities range from gradual bureaucratic evolution to a violent uprising. And then there's everything in between. And to that end, we have no idea if socialism is the endpoint or if it is just a post along the way as we evolve into, again, something else. Point number 3, nothing is entirely clear. We see different things playing out to different extents in different situations. But it tends to be quite difficult to say, yes, this is exactly what happened, this is exactly how the system works, and thus we can predict exactly how it will continue to work or behave in future circumstances. Many of the things Schumpeter is venturing to speak about have not played out in their entireties. In his time, family values were still alive and well, bourgeois motivations are still alive and well, etc. Because remember, when it comes to these topics, a century is viewed as the short run. And that wraps it up for this chapter. I hope you guys have been enjoying Schumpeter so far. If you have any other book recommendations, please feel free to comment them on any of our videos. We do read the comments. I hope everybody had a very happy Halloween, and look out for later this week. I'll be releasing a video that's a conversational video of Rafi and me if you're interested. All right, bye.